Have you ever wondered why the rich seem to get richer while everyone else struggles to keep up? It's a question that has intrigued many, and today we're going to delve into it. Welcome to our exploration of money in the world economy, how the rich get richer. In this journey, we will navigate through the power of capital, the clever use of leverage, the intricacies of tax strategies, the influence of economic policies, and the global perspective that collectively create the perfect storm for wealth accumulation. These are the gears that turn the machine, the elements that move the needle, and the strategies that the affluent employ to consistently increase their wealth. Understanding these mechanisms can provide us with valuable insights into the world of wealth creation and the economic disparity that exists. So, buckle up and let's get started and dive into the world of wealth accumulation. First, let's discuss capital. What is it exactly? In the realm of economics, capital isn't limited to just piles of cash. Rather, it encompasses a wide array of assets that have value and can be used to generate income or increase wealth. This includes everything from stocks and bonds to real estate and businesses. You see, capital is a powerful tool when it comes to wealth accumulation. Think about it. When you invest in stocks, you're buying a piece of a company. If that company does well, the value of your stocks increases, and voila, your wealth grows. Similarly, if you own real estate, you can earn income through rent. Even a business can be considered capital, as it can generate profits and increase in value over time. But here's the kicker. The rich often have the majority of their wealth invested in these types of assets. Now, you might think, well, I have a savings account. Isn't that an investment? Sure, it is. But a savings account typically earns minimal interest, barely keeping up with inflation. On the other hand, capital assets like stocks or real estate have the potential to significantly outpace inflation. This means that over time, the rich can grow their wealth at a much faster pace than the average person who keeps their savings in a bank account. And it doesn't stop there. The wealthy aren't just investing in one or two stocks or properties. They diversify their investments across a broad range of assets, further spreading their risk and increasing their chances of accumulating wealth. So, while the rest of us are working hard to earn our salaries, the rich are letting their capital do the heavy lifting. They are investing in assets that grow in value and provide income, thereby increasing their wealth even while they sleep. And that's the power of capital. It's not just about having money, it's about how you use it. The rich understand this, and they use their capital to create more wealth, perpetuating a cycle that keeps them at the top of the economic ladder. The next point to discuss is leverage. Now, you might be wondering, what exactly is leverage? Well, in the simplest terms, leverage is the strategy of using borrowed money to increase potential returns on an investment. Think of it like this. When you buy a house, you typically don't pay the full price up front. Instead, you take out a mortgage, which is essentially borrowed money, and you pay this back over time. This allows you to control a large asset, the house, with a relatively small amount of your own money, your down payment. The concept of leverage isn't limited to mortgages and real estate. It's used in various forms of investing, including stock trading, where investors can use borrowed money to buy more shares than they could afford with their own funds. This strategy can significantly amplify profits. For example, if you invest $100 of your own money and earn a 10% return, you make $10. But if you invest $500, $100 of your own, and $400 borrowed, that same 10% return gives you $50. That's the power of leverage. However, as with any powerful tool, there are risks involved. The same leverage that can amplify profits can also amplify losses. If that investment doesn't pan out, not only could you lose your initial investment, but you'll still owe the money you borrowed. This could potentially lead to financial ruin if not managed properly. So how do the rich navigate these risks? Well, they often have better access to information, advice, and sophisticated financial tools that can help them manage and mitigate these risks. They have teams of financial advisors and analysts who constantly monitor their investments, ensuring they're making informed decisions based on the best available data. While leverage can increase profits, it also increases risk. However, the rich often have better access to information, advice, and tools to manage this risk effectively. Now, let's shift our focus to tax strategies. It's no secret that the rich have the financial resources to hire skilled accountants and lawyers. These professionals help their clients navigate the complex world of taxation, extracting maximum value from tax deductions, credits, and loopholes. It may seem like a game of cat and mouse, but it's more of a chess match, where knowing the rules and how to play them can provide substantial advantages. Just consider tax deductions. These are expenses that can be subtracted from a taxpayer's income before taxes are applied. Now, the average person might be aware of common deductions like mortgage interest or student loan interest. However, the rich often have access to a broader array of deductions, some of which are specific to their investments or businesses. Then there are tax credits. While deductions lower taxable income, credits reduce the actual tax owed, dollar for dollar. For the wealthy, these can come in various forms, such as credits for investing in certain sectors, or for implementing environmentally friendly practices in their businesses. But perhaps the most intriguing aspect of tax strategies for the wealthy lies in the realm of loopholes. These are not illegal practices. Rather, they are opportunities within the tax code that can be exploited to reduce tax liabilities. For instance, some wealthy individuals use trusts or offshore accounts to legally shield their assets from high tax rates. Others might use specific investment vehicles that offer tax advantages. What's more, these tax strategies can work in tandem. Deductions can lower taxable income, credits can reduce the tax owed, and loopholes can further minimize liabilities. The result? A significant portion of the wealthy's income stays in their pockets, or more likely, gets reinvested. This reinvestment is a critical piece of the puzzle. By keeping more of their money, the rich can invest more, and those investments can compound over time. This compounding effect is a powerful wealth multiplier, and it's fueled in part by effective tax strategies. By using these strategies, a significant portion of their income stays invested and compounds over time, further increasing their wealth. Another key factor in wealth accumulation is economic influence. You see, wealth isn't just about luxury cars and mansions, it's also about power. The kind of power that can shape the economic landscape and influence public policy. The wealthy often use their economic clout to sway decisions that ultimately favor their financial interests. They can leverage their resources to influence laws, regulations, and policies that either protect their existing wealth or open up new avenues for wealth creation. This influence isn't always overt, but it's a significant factor in how the rich keep getting richer. Consider lobbying efforts, for instance. These are organized activities aimed at influencing political decisions. Wealthy individuals and corporations spend billions each year on lobbying efforts, hiring skilled professionals to advocate on their behalf. These lobbyists work to persuade policymakers to craft legislation in ways that favor their clients' interests. Then, there's the power of campaign contributions. By funding political campaigns, the wealthy can build relationships with elected officials. These relationships often translate into favorable legislative and regulatory outcomes. It's not a coincidence that policies often seem to favor the interests of the wealthy. But it's not all about direct influence. The wealthy also shape economic policies indirectly. Their investment decisions can have significant impacts on the economy. If they choose to invest heavily in a particular industry, that industry could thrive, creating jobs and stimulating economic growth. Conversely, if they pull their investments, it could lead to job losses and economic downturns. In essence, the wealthy can use their economic influence to create a favorable environment for their wealth to grow. Whether it's through lobbying, campaign contributions, or investment decisions, they can steer the economic ship in a direction that suits their financial objectives. Through these methods, the wealthy can steer policies in ways that protect or enhance their wealth. So the next time you wonder why the rich keep getting richer, remember, it's not just about what they have. It's also about the power that their wealth affords them. Now, let's take a look at the global perspective. The wealth disparity that we see isn't just a national phenomenon, but a global one. It's maintained and often exacerbated by the influence of the wealthy over international economic policies and the process of corporate globalization. When we talk about corporate globalization, we're referring to the expansion of corporations and their operations on a global scale. This process opens up new markets, providing a wider customer base and cheaper resources and labor. It's a system that's largely beneficial to the wealthy business owners and investors who have stakes in these corporations. Consider this: a multinational corporation might set up a factory in a country where labor costs are low. This can lead to job creation in that region. Yes, but the profits generated don't usually stay there. They flow back to the corporation's headquarters and, by extension, to the wealthy individuals who own and invest in that business. Also, let's not forget the influence the wealthy can wield over international economic policies. Through lobbying and strategic alliances, they can push for policies that favor their interests. Whether it's trade agreements that open up new markets or tax treaties that minimize their liabilities, the wealthy have the means to shape the global economic landscape to their advantage. In contrast, the average worker, whether they're in a developed or developing nation, doesn't typically reap the same level of benefits from these global market dynamics. Their wages don't increase at the same rate as corporate profits, and they often don't have the same level of influence over economic policies that directly impact their livelihoods. As you can see, the mechanisms that allow the rich to get richer are complex and interconnected. They span across national borders and are deeply embedded in our global economic systems. It's not just about individual strategies or personal financial habits, but a broader system that, by its very nature, tends to concentrate wealth in the hands of a few. So we've covered a lot today about how the rich get richer, from the power of capital and the strategic use of leverage to adept tax strategies and the influence of economic policies. All these tools and tactics deployed effectively serve to widen the wealth gap, making the rich richer. We started by discussing capital, assets like stocks, real estate, and businesses, and how these assets can grow in value and provide income, serving as powerful tools for wealth accumulation. Then, we delved into the concept of leverage, essentially the use of borrowed money to amplify potential returns on an investment. While this strategy carries risks, the wealthy often have better access to information and tools to manage these risks effectively. Tax strategies were our next focus. The rich can afford skilled accountants and lawyers who help them benefit from tax deductions, credits, and loopholes that are not readily accessible or known to the average taxpayer. These strategies can significantly reduce tax liabilities, meaning more money stays invested and compounds over time, further increasing wealth. We also touched on economic influence and policy. Wealth affords power, and power affords influence over public policy and economic decisions that can favor the wealthy. Whether it's through lobbying efforts or campaign contributions, the wealthy can steer policies in ways that protect or enhance their wealth. Finally, we took a global perspective, acknowledging that the disparity in wealth is also maintained through control over international economic policies and corporate globalization. Wealthy business owners and investors often benefit more from global markets than the average worker. Yet remember, this is just the tip of the iceberg. The dynamics of wealth accumulation are complex and multifaceted, and there's much more to explore. If you found this topic interesting, I encourage you to continue learning more about it. Delve deeper, ask questions, challenge assumptions, because at the end of the day, knowledge is power. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.